Key takeaways you'll get from this is that it's no secret that consumer brand expression in almost every form it comes in and through every channel it comes through is absolutely booming, and that it's pretty much impossible to have a commerce component, whether brick and mortar or e-commerce, without social content integrated. So whether you're broadcasting tweets in a store or you're posting Instagram photos on your e-commerce site, it's impossible to not have that as an ingredient. We also want you to walk away with knowing that if you don't already know this, that both search from a Google algorithm perspective and the general user experience loves social content. So as you may already know, Google's algorithm disproportionately weights user-generated content over normal static content. And the last and most important thing is that this social content in the context of commerce has directly increased our sales. So my goal with you is I'm going to walk you through a super specific business case as to how one of our brands implemented this philosophy and specifically what the results are. And I'll try and be reasonable because it's always tough to be the last to talk before lunch because I know you guys are hungry. So a little bit of background on me. I think, it's not a coincidence there's a picture of me skiing there. I love the sport, and that's pretty much it. I grew up around it. After working in consumer, just loved action sports, so got involved with La Jolla Group. And these are our brands. This is what we do. We design, source, manufacture, market, and distribute some of the leading brands in action sports. O'Neill invented the wetsuit and is the largest seller and #1 board short company in the world. And I mistakenly brought a pair with me because I thought I was going to use them while I was here, but it's freezing. Should have brought a wetsuit, actually. Rusty, Australian surfboard manufacturer, deep surfing heritage, and then some FMF and Metal Militia are both motocross brands. If you've ever seen guys doing backflips on motorcycles at the X Games, Metal Militia is the dominant brand in that space. Our team dominates X Games podium and Red Bull events. We have rally car teams. We have a leading MMA team. The Barracks, largest skate media website in the world. More kids post and view skateboarding footage on the Barracks than any other site in the world, including YouTube. Killer Dana, I put that up there because we not only are brand manufacturers, but we also own horizontal retailers, which sell not only our brands, but all of our competitors' brands as well. So we really understand the full gamut of being in horizontal retail, being a brand, a vertical brand, and being a brand manufacturer as well. So my primary job function, full disclosure, I'm not a technology guy, so I'm not fluent in IT. I speak kind of conversational IT, but we approach this more at a kind of top-level corporate strategy, and digital and social has become a key conversation point for us beyond just the digital marketing and e-commerce divisions. And my responsibilities are not unique to digital, but are extremely focused on digital as it becomes such an important part of our business. A little background on our consumers. As you can imagine, they're tech savvy, and by virtue of being youth focused, our primary demographic profile is our millennials. And I think we saw some slides of somebody's kids cranking out or using a bunch of different digital devices and consuming digital content. And if you look at our primary age group, which I unfortunately am no longer a part of, actually I'm 34 years old, so I'm barely fit into it. And almost anyone in this age group has grown up with an email address, has never lived life without a cell phone, those types of things. So you can imagine that as a result of that, they're extremely socially engaged. They're very, very active. While not everyone owns a motorbike or does backflips on it, if they do, we have a lot of aspirational consumers that just participate in an active outdoor lifestyle. Our Facebook challenge, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what hasn't worked, but I really want to focus more on what does. So I'm not going to get too much in depth about why our Facebook commerce experience didn't work, but we were one of the first brands to do it. We did it with over 1 million fans on our Metal Militia Facebook page. We implemented the site, we implemented the commerce page, and needless to say, despite having an insanely engaged fan group, 5% of our fans contribute on a monthly basis of those million-plus fans. We have a very heavily engaged fan base. I don't think that we produced even 0.1% conversion in that environment. And there was a million reasons why we tried to figure it out, but that basically Facebook wasn't the place they were coming to shop. It's very different than when you're searching for something on Google, you're interested in a product or a particular thing. Facebook is, at least our consumers, were there to hang out and consume content, but they really were not there to shop. So taking a brief snapshot of our digital landscape, we decided that e-commerce needs to be a strategic priority because our social users are so engaged. And I think I touched a little bit on our engagement rate, and we're going to talk about a Metal Militia case study here, but we have 1.5 million fans just with that one brand living on one page. And over 5% of them do contribute content on a monthly basis. We've also struggled with implementing ratings and reviews across all of our e-commerce sites on all of these brands. And it hasn't been good or bad. We just haven't found that it's overly influences a sale in that environment. People, I think, expect to see some form of context for the product they're buying and like to see that it's being reviewed in some form or another by their peers or, in some cases, by anyone, even someone that they don't know. They just want to see some type of engagement. The other thing that was really interesting is we talked about internally is that we have so much user-generated content, and we just weren't using it. We were storing it, we were going out of our way to collect it, but we weren't doing anything with it. And I think that's pretty key to what you're going to learn here about how we integrate social content into commerce. So this was our business case. We basically just wanted to know if we could increase web traffic on our Metal Militia e-commerce page, if the engagement with consumers on that page would also be enhanced in some degree, and could we do that using social testimonials, all this content that we already had through all of these different channels, and could we increase that experience, could we drive traffic, and could we influence other things like PageRank on the site as well? All of which, obviously, the goal is to increase conversion and bottom line revenue. So that's exactly what we did. We integrated user-generated content on a category and product pages, so not just in an environment where you're purchasing something, but all of our athletes, for example, have pages where a lot of our fans or other users spend time consuming that content. So not unique to just a commerce page. We then developed an API-based widget to stream that content through. Created some business logic, some very basic business logic around that, and as a result, enhanced our SEO footprint because of Google's rank on user-generated content. Had our users spending more time with our site, and obviously, as a result, increasing revenue. And if I'm going through this slide too quick and you want some of this info, I'm happy to email this presentation if it's not already available, but it's designed for me to pass on to you afterwards as well. So here's how it worked. You can see there's a widget here right above our product page. This is a Metal Militia men's page, I believe. And what you're seeing is an automated moderation of content, user-generated content from our brand advocates under business logic that we define who our brand advocates are. Again, probably part of that 5% engaged fan base, but we're able to set that logic in whatever context we'd like. And then we certainly make it relevant. We are not going to tell a guy about a hot trending shoe per the DSW excitement in the room because their chances are they really want to learn more about something else that has to do with our brand. So sharing again with you a little bit of some of the results. I didn't want to filter out too much here because some of these goals and these KPIs are more important to some people than they are to others. Certainly for us, page views were a huge KPI for us. Bounce rate, decreasing that bounce rate was also important. We knew that just that in and of itself would inherently increase conversion, all other things being equal. And then certainly page views. You can see that there's some substantial jumps in page view. And all this was done in a kind of an A/B testing environment so that we could be objective about the results. The moral of the story is that social testimonials work, and they work in a very tangible way. And when we talk about social commerce, before we were trying to bring commerce into social, and this is really our effort to bring social into commerce. And that's kind of how we articulate our social commerce philosophy and really what the results of the business case prove to us. So, I mean, it's hard to argue with a 180% increase in conversion and revenue, and to do so in such a confined, objective, third-party way. So, not so surprisingly, we're going to do a lot more of that. We're integrating this across all of our brands, so you'll see this, I think, our next scheduled to roll out on O'Neill, particularly on the O'Neill women's side of the business. We also learned that through this tool as well, we're able to score and measure the strength that our athletes have in social as well. And we're actually doing this because we're not sure how to pull that back into commerce later, but we know that kids love to watch our athletes perform. They go to cool places, they do cool stuff. It's fun to watch, and if I present to you guys again, I'll make sure I show more video, because that was cool to see DSW's commercial. I'd love to show you some guys doing backflips on motorcycles, but maybe next time. The other thing that's really interesting is that with all this content, we'd really like to put it in the hands of our advertisers and then our retailers, because retailers are really our primary customers. We rely on them to buy and sell our product to the end consumer. So think of Zappos, Tilly's, Zumiez, PacSun, Macy's, Nordstrom's. Those are all customers of ours. And we've got this tremendous amount of user-generated content that we can empower them with to sell our products through their channels. And so that's a next step. Since we've proved it at home, we now want to share it with our kind of force multiplier partners. The other really interesting long-term thing as a strategist and a guy that draws circles around things on whiteboards, I really like the idea of leveraging this user-generated content to identify design and trending opportunities. Right now, sitting in a room somewhere in our headquarters in Irvine are a bunch of designers trying to figure out what patterns and colors are going to have momentum and increase sell-through 180 days from now. And right now, they don't really have, other than their God-given intuition and their past success, they really don't have anything, any tangible dashboard of performance indicators to help guide their decision-making process around demand planning as it pertains to style. So it'd be awesome to give them a data set that showed them that sales disproportionately increased when people were posting comments and content around stripes or a certain color, or stripes versus flannel, or some pattern of that sort. And we think there's a lot of value in harvesting that content as well. So I hope that this wasn't too much information too quickly, but I really know that you guys you must be hungry, so I didn't want to take up too much of your time. I'll be at lunch. You guys can feel free to poke me for more info, and again, I'm happy to share this presentation as well as a lot more insight, because we're pretty excited about it.
Yeah, questions for Daniel in the room? After, just so you all know, we will be sharing our presentations on our website, and you all will get an email about that. But should there be no questions for Daniel, please go enjoy lunch.
Thanks, guys.